Praise God. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for your many, many blessings in life. And Lord, we just ask that you be with our employees today. We ask that you put your guidance upon them, your hand of protection over them, Lord, and just bless them. We ask you to be, Lord, with all of our first responders. The way the world's getting, Lord, we just ask that you would protect them. And Heavenly Father, give us the knowledge and wisdom to make the best decisions for our county. We give you the glory for this in Jesus' name. Amen.
So your pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We'll call the meeting to order. All three of the commissioners here. You can, Lauren. Agenda, you got any changes on the agenda, Lauren?
With correspondence, we actually have the actual audit report, which is also online. Under old business and listening and actually getting the minutes for the 8th done, which is when I wasn't present at. There was no discussion and follow-up on the contract for the ambulance authority medical director buy down. And also, the governor's proclamation was added. And the CD rates and investing in the CDs, that was no follow-up on that at that meeting. And then the appointments, Paul and Fisher were added.
Is that the one that the recording didn't finish, or? The CVs, they make the decision at that meeting.
Okay, well, it said that no decisions were made. And I listened to the whole thing, there was no, you were going to call her at the meeting, and then you guys went to executive session, there was no other follow-up on that.
And then I forgot to turn the recording back on at the end of the meeting, because I even put a note on YouTube that I forgot to.
Yeah, you mentioned the exonerations in the states, but there were no other action from executive session. So,
Okay,
because that was, so those items I put on here because you need to officially
okay.
do something with those.
We went with.
And you all did it, Wanda was sitting there when you did it.
18
You
months.
guys made a decision before we left.
I think it was 18 months.
18 months, or 18 or 24.
That's why it's on here. So
Okay, I will email
So
on
we will
that.
clarify.
I like 18. I'd like to see 24 because you got just a little bit more interest. We don't need to.
I thought we went with the longer one.
I thought we did too.
Because we went with what was longest, because we talked about doing a shorter term because of interest rates increasing, but we did the longer term.
Well, we'll talk about it since it's on
But no,
there.
when we left here, I was under the impression it was 18.
Okay, I'll email that.
Those are the only changes to the agenda.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. I approve that also. Minutes from the previous meeting.
Right through.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't need to read it. Okay.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 8th and April 15th meeting. Whenever Jason gets done.
I looked through them earlier. I second.
And I approve that also. Correspondence, West Virginia State Auditor's Report. You got that in here?
Yeah, it's the last page. All I did was copy the first page of it. So here's the printed version, but it's also viewable online. At the state auditor's website, you can actually view the whole audit,
I know. We're reading that.
but you need to accept the audit.
I'll make a motion to accept the audit report.
I second it.
And I approve that also.
All right, I did not see the April 15th minutes in here.
Okay.
I just read the report of them. Right there, you are.
Oh, I'm sorry, under correspondence, did you want to add that then?
Did you
At what?
Jason?
Roger said he brought this down. Sorry,
Well, that's
we
just-
should, to make record of it in the minutes, just that it was under correspondence.
Yes,
We
that's,
can add that to it.
that's the auditor's report from the Region 8 Planning and Development. They gave it to me last Thursday to bring down.
If you want to add under commission ordered correspondence, Dutch asked me to write a letter to the Department of Tourism for a swing at Barnum, but I just got all the details on that yesterday, that that letter is ready for them to sign today, and I can make you a copy after they sign it.
Also, did Steve Shipley get a hold of you
I'll
about
talk to Shipley.
they're asking for a letter of support from, they actually want 3 letters of support, one from each commissioner. Cause they need 5, to send in with congressional money for the building of the fire department.
No, he's not reached out to me.
Okay,
I
and they
did
need
one-
that by the 25th.
I did one for Westernport. They asked for one for a new engine. But I can email Shipley and
Can you get them your?
I mean, it doesn't take any time. He'll just have to give me some details though on
Okay,
what, I guess it's for their new fire department.
Did he contact you, Jason? Maybe it was you that told me. Jason, Steve Shipley? Okay.
My mind just went blank, so.
I'm still good with the minutes.
yeah, they're in there.
Yeah, I just scanned through them real quick.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting?
Oh, we,
Where?
that's you.
I already did that.
Oh, you did that? Oh, okay. When you said minutes,
Yeah, I didn't see the,
we've done the auditor's report. Do you need anything on the, planning development?
You need a motion or?
Accept.
No,
Accept that?
just the portion ones.
Okay.
Yeah, done been accepted through planning development. Okay, we'll move down to old business board and appointments. Do we have any?
I don't think it happened.
No.
Update on the courthouse.
The people came and did the cable decabling, that's in the accounts payable, it actually ended up being about half what they estimated. They did take out a ton of cable, I didn't get to go down enough to get a lot of pictures. If you go down there, it almost still looks like there's still a lot in the ceiling. But they took a ton of cable out. Did I really believe that? That truck that loads full of cable, it ended up being 8,000 rather than 14,000. So that was good. The Supreme Court is down there pulling cable right now. I did order that Cat 6, but I've been trying to work with his Vantage as much as possible because they've been being really fair with stuff. So I called him before I ordered anything and he got me the boxes much cheaper. So I ended up ordering 6 boxes, which was still a couple $100 less than what I'd asked you all for. And he told me whatever we don't use, I can just send back and they'll give us the money back. So I went ahead and ordered more just in case we needed it. Because he said it wouldn't be a problem. He'd give us dollar for dollar, whatever we paid. The metal siding is almost finished on the annex. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It looks a lot better than I thought it was going to. They're nearly finished. The mini splits, they're finishing those up today. The ones for the courtroom and then Judge Courier's office and Stacy's office. Judge Courier and Stacy are finished. But the jury room, they're in the process of doing now, and they're almost finished it. The Fair Chance has been working through punch list. Tom and I went through and back punch, that's probably before the last meeting. Again, so they're working through some of that. I don't think I have, any major updates. I wasn't at the building commission meeting last week, I had to go in virtual, but I know Dutch and Jason were both there, so you guys know as much as I do, basically. Yeah, that's what I got.
I got a question about the new annex building. That paint.
The whole building gets repainted.
They are.
On the outside?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the whole building gets repainted. Yeah, they're waiting till spring, but that vendor who's there now, Metcalf, they've got some spots to parge. But then, Hoyman will be painting the whole exterior of the building, that's part of the
And
contract.
I don't know if you guys walked around back and looked at the concrete. Have you looked at?
Yes.
Looked at it? I think what we need to do is get a hold of Nelson time and fix it.
Okay, that's what I
Did you?
brought that up last time, and that's,
It's coming up.
I walked around the building too, the whole back alley side of it, it's big sections are look like they're ready to break off. Like water's getting in behind concrete things.
On
around the
what?
way. On the back, on the annex.
On the
On the
bill-
actual
on the
building.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's part of the pargin part, I believe.
that's part of the parking. Okay.
Yes.
I'd have to look to see exactly what you're talking about. What I needed you all, the Nelson thing, I know they need to come back and fix it, but what do you all think they need to do to fix it? That's,
They need to pull it up and do it right.
okay.
Tear it all up and redo it.
We paid them good money for that.
That's my opinion.
I agree with you.
The concrete work around the backside of the building is all chipped up, brand new concrete work and.
Well, what happened was,
Somebody said it rained.
it rained while they were doing it, but it had, and I'm not making excuses for them. But Jeremiah kept saying, it's gotta be done, it's gotta be done, it's gotta be done, it's gotta be done.
Yeah.
And it was November and they had the truck scheduled and it rained, they just put plastic over it so they could get it done. So it's one of those situations where like, I absolutely get what you're saying, I will talk to him. But it was also like, they were being pushed, season was ending, and they were just trying to get it done when they could, and now we've ended up with.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
They're still working on the sound in Judge Rock's, the family courtroom, the court, elevator.
Yeah, and then listen, I went over and talked to Cody about this. Cause they spray that stuff. She said that spray will help reduce that. Now, she don't know how much. But she said that spray is really good to help reduce your nose. I don't know how much either. I'm just saying.
So you would have to talk to the engineers, it's more complex than like. Cause the machine sounds it's making, the frequency isn't just blocked by a standard. And like,
I've never heard of
they've done, listen, they've got. It's way over my head, but we can call Tom and he can explain. But they did do the spray like batten type insulation down in there. Cause the general consensus amongst all of them was spray foam insulation will not stop that sound.
That frequency.
That frequency, that's my understanding, yes. No, cause it definitely does help with some sounds, but my understanding is it doesn't help with that frequency. So,
Okay, what about Parks and Rec?
I don't have anything in that.
Okay, update on the CBD.
Well, wait a minute, Strawberry Festival is what, June 7th?
7.
The fishing rodeo had a very good turnout,
Very good turnout.
very good turnout.
Strawberry Festival is.
Learned some lessons on it too.
Yeah,
To my knowledge, nobody fell on the pool.
I don't think so.
I didn't.
That's honestly, it's surprising.
I was shocked. Nobody fell.
Yeah, Strawberry Festival is June 7th.
But it definitely, worked out. A lot better than being down along the creek because they were able to easily get the age groups around the pool. And the other age groups were able to go out in the grass and play and that kind of thing, and you didn't have to worry about traffic. You didn't have to worry about somebody falling down the bank into the water.
And the drawback to having, I'd love to see it in the creek. I'd love to see it down there, but you can't do it. You can't tell people they can't fish.
Yeah,
You can't shut that down. If they bought their license, you can't tell them you can't fish here.
yeah.
And that's what you run into. So,
One of the challenge was a tennis match going on, parking. No, parking.
But
Yeah.
what did they have registered for the fishing rodeo? I know she's.
There was over 150 at one point.
yeah, there's a lot of kids there.
But you didn't have to pre-register either. It's like
Right.
my kids just showed up that morning.
Yeah.
Where were you?
Home with my children. But the other ones, I was not interested in chasing Lincoln around the pool for so long. Yeah, I was
Two
not-
of them was there. They didn't fall in, but I questioned them.
Yeah, they also didn't catch anything.
I know. Not a lot of kids caught
Yeah,
some, I'll tell you that. Okay, is that all?
Yeah, that's stuff should be mentioned. It's
No,
not.
I'm glad you did. Update on the CBG building. I talked to AJ today and he said the way it looks, maybe the first week in May, they might start construction, actually building. Concrete work and stuff like that, so.
And I do have a drawdown of that project. It's gonna be number 16. And it is for $5,949.47.
How much is it?
$5,949.47.
Something, not the vice president.
Do I hear a motion? Jason?
I make a motion, so.
I'll second, and I approve that also. Okay.
So are you still on the cornerstone for May 3rd?
Yes. Okay. You, update on the opioid funding.
Don't really have much updates right now, other than we'll start accepting applications May 1. We're trying to get set up with an electronic form. Make it easy, a little bit easier for some people. We'll still have papers available. Anybody wants to actually do it the old fashioned way and handwrite it. The contract from WVU was sent back to them with some of our suggestions for changes. As far as who was supposed to sign and that kind of thing, just some small details. And we have not heard back. I have not heard back from them yet.
I have not received anything on that either. And your compliance report was submitted
Yeah.
for that first year.
All right. Discuss and approve the Mineral County Ambulance Authority medical director.
Covered.
No, that's just what I just talked about, that contract.
Well, and the only decision on that was the ambulance authority is going to be responsible for it.
Yeah.
They're going to be the signers.
It?
Yep.
War, update on the war memorial, nothing?
I do have one question on the opioid side of it. So is funding going to WVU like originally planned, or is it going directly to the ambulance authority?
I believe we decided what's going to the ambulance authority. The ambulance authority is going to take care of paying WVU.
Okay. Fix my purchase order.
That is what we decided, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Okay, I just got finished, fix my purchase order.
On the war memorial at the last meeting, you all asked us to do a CPF application for it. Eileen has finished that application. And Roy was working on getting the needed letters because he was gonna have the best entities to do that. And the letter of support from the county commission, when the county commission is the applicant, is not really so he was gonna get one from the Legion and one from the VFW. So we were just, I'd have checked with Eileen. She might actually have it now. But
Okay.
she was waiting on him. She'd already spoken to him last week.
And then are you guys gonna be available, go down at some point and actually confirm the location?
Yeah, we're gonna have to, I told Chuck we need to get down there and do that. I mentioned that to him at Ed Kelly.
We walked around there on Friday, Thursday, Dutch and I did to kind of get an idea of it.
He's been told so many different things by different, and that's why he wants confirmation before he moves forward. He can't move forward until he knows exact location.
Actually where,
We definitely need confirmation of any lines underneath before.
yes.
Do you know where the lines goes? All up through them?
You can see it's all dug up right
Yeah,
now.
it's all dug up right there.
I'm
On
talking about
sidewalk.
the other side. Either side of it. I know this side's dug
Well,
up.
I assume for the plaza, you can definitely see where the lines are. And actually for all of it, you can, because everything's still fresh, like grass hasn't grown up anywhere. So you can definitely at least get a solid idea of where they are.
I thought your original thing was it was kind of gonna be like the centerpiece of your plaza.
That's what I was hoping for, but that's what we had talked about, but then we talked about different things too, so it's just kind of.
That's a problem. There's been a lot of conversation and not, like you said, before he moves forward, he.
Right.
Okay, court security grants resolution.
Technically, you guys approved it at the last meeting, but your court security meeting was today at 10, so.
Yeah, well, the court security committee was in agreement with what we talked about, which was the $13,000 to replace the carry access control system and $20,000 to buy a new panic button system.
13,744.
Yeah, the application's in my office, it's already signed. But yeah, 13,744 and then 20,000. I just did 20,000 even, but it's like $19,980 or something. So that's the court security committee was in agreement with that application. Cassandra was getting their letters of support ready for all the court officers. I need to look over those and she was gonna send those out to gather those back. That will be ready to go and I hope I can get it shipped out. That's, I need to figure out if it's gotta be mailed or if I can email it, so. I'll be getting that out hopefully by the end of this week, as long as I get letters back, because everything else is ready.
Very good on that.
Yep.
Do we need a motion for that?
Oh, no, you already did it last week.
Okay, all right.
All right, what about, let's see, wait a minute, we don't have it all. Need a sheriff for Joel.
Please.
Sir, we're still trying to get a contractor to come in and give us a bid on what he's doing.
He hasn't moved on that yet.
We, D&D come in and gave us an estimate just to simply do minor stuff in the one that's in there without even giving us anything that has to relate to running the water line over. So,
They priced $2,300 just to replace the pan with no plumbing. So, the sheriff said that probably wouldn't be a good fit and was gonna try to find someone else.
pick one of them up from Lowe's for $300 and have to put that in there.
Hey, might well.
We did go over and look though to see how we can plumb that, and it's just,
There, the way it's set up now, the water system in there, especially when it ran into the gel cells, goes through a mixer. It doesn't have a hot and a cold, it's simply on. And we don't even know if that works efficiently. So what it's gonna take is for a contractor to come in, which I've spoken to two. And I can't even get a return call from them after I explain what it is that needs to be done. They simply don't want to touch it, I don't believe. But given time, I'll find somebody that's willing to come in and give me an accurate estimate is what it's gonna take to put that in. Now, the one thing we did discuss about, is simply just putting the shower in there, not replacing the toilet that's in there, because that's gonna be a costly, purchase, the way that. I think it's a back mount rather than down mount, so. But in all honesty, there's enough toilets in that building. To walk 15 feet to use one is fine, not really, all that needs to be there is a shower.
Hey, your resource officers,
Yeah, we need to make the decision, I believe, on what we're gonna do there with them.
Let me ask-
We have basically 1 month until they are not working.
let me ask you a question, Liz. I've been thinking about this and I've talked to a couple people about this. This is what concerns me about this. They've got to take the civil service test. They've got to pass the civil service test, correct?
I believe they already have.
I don't know if they have or not.
Two of them.
Not
So-
Center County Sheriff's Department.
Bill Clark's been a deputy.
We just pretty sure. No, it's full security.
Bill Clark.
He worked for the city for a long time, I know that. But my question is, and I'm, if they would fail that, that wouldn't be good, would it?
They can take it in,
They can take it in, yes.
yeah.
You sure Bill Clark was never employed by the sheriff's department other than the bailiff?
I think that's all he was employed with.
that's all I remember in my
Yeah.
time here, but
Yeah.
it could have been before.
Well, then we schedule a test. How long would it take to schedule and get them tested?
Yeah, I'm guessing next week.
Cause I hate to see one of them lose their job. I don't want
Well,
to see.
it's not that they're losing their job, it's just that they're gonna be out of work for 2 months with no income.
And if they don't work if they miss 1 month, if they only work 11 months, then they can't qualify for the retirement.
Now, are they on the 20 or 24 pay schedule for the school system?
No, they're county employees.
So they're on our pay
They're on
schedule.
our pay schedule.
But you don't pay them 24 pays a year.
No,
No,
we don't do that. We pay for services,
they didn't get that option like the bus drivers and teachers do and custodians.
because they're not paid by the school board. They're our employees.
They would still be reimbursed, the county would still be reimbursed the Board of Education for that. The only additional time we would be adding is the 2 months that they're off.
Okay. Well, ask them about, talk to them about that test. That's what's kind of on my mind. I don't see one of them lose for going.
Honestly, sir, if I give them a date, they'll all be here for the test.
Okay.
Shame we didn't do it last week, no. So it's a shame we didn't do it last week when they were all.
We can bring them in, I'm sure they'll.
Do it evening.
Would you say?
I didn't say anything.
Okay, I know it's not 1:30, but is Jason on there? Yeah.
Yes, he's right there, yep.
And before we get into new business, let's, Jason, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. How's everybody doing?
Doing okay, thank you. What did you want to talk to us about, property over at Ridgefield?
Yes, sir. I was calling in regards to the dam structure over there. I'm an adjacent landowner, and some of the family is as well. Off of Patterson Creek, Site 21. We were trying to figure out what the status of that property is with regards to the commission. Maybe what their plans were for it. We've had a lot of trespassing over our way, and just trying to get an idea what the plan might be.
Yeah, trespassing on your property or on?
Well, it looks like to be on all property up in that area. I grew up there, and I don't live there anymore, but I know there's been some issues with side by sides, bikes, things of that matter. Folks walking in. We're not the understanding that it's public, but that's where we were trying to figure out. We know the lake's in some poor quality. We were trying to maybe do something on trying to do some improvements, but we wanted to make sure there wasn't any plans of dredging or any improvements on your side of things. But just trying to get an understanding of what the plans are for it.
So real quick, can I just speak on the things I know? So, this property, Jason, like when I had spoken to you, a couple of years ago, we had looked at making it into a public access property, but because of some right-of-way issues, we ended up not doing that. At that time, the commission decided that the property was not to be accessed by anyone. It wasn't going to be a publicly accessible property. There probably is trespassing, I have no doubt about that. But at that time, they did make a decision, that it would not be publicly accessible. As far as the, water quality and the caretaking for that, the Potomac Valley Conservation District and, there's another association that are jointly responsible for kind of the safety of that dam. And they kind of oversee those operations. We give them a little bit of funding every year to do some of the things they need to do. So we would have to get in conjunction with them if you all wanted to make major improvements, but as far as any kind of improvements, with the water. But as far as publicly accessible goes, the last decision that was made was that that property would not be open to the public, and that's why I kind of told you to discuss with the commission today to see if any of their perspectives have changed or what their thoughts on all of that were.
Okay. Is there any plans to try to revisit that, or is it just gonna stay as a non-public accessible area?
We've talked about trying to do a gun range in that area somewhere, a shooting range, and it would be open to public. However, we only have one right of way into that property right now. And that right of way is a little difficult. And so currently we really have no plans of making that public accessible.
Okay. Would there be an opportunity to discuss purchasing that property with the issue of access? Would that be something that the commission would be willing to entertain and discuss?
My knowledge, that's been asked before. I don't think we're allowed to sell it, but we can double check on it. But I don't think we're allowed to sell it around. Do you?
Okay.
I would have to check. We had an attorney review the deed before when we were looking at the right of way. I don't think sale was something that was reviewed or a question that was answered at that time, but I know you guys had looked at selling it before, but I wasn't administrator at that time. I can't
We're
remember.
told we
what-
wasn't allowed to sell it.
Yes,
And it would
I,
have to go to public auction, not
Yeah,
just to an individual.
exactly.
yes, we definitely have to be publicly auctioned as a piece of real estate.
I'm not really in favor of selling it.
But if you all want me to check, and I can check with Charlie first, but that's something we really need to check with the real estate attorney on, because even if Charlie says yes, you can't, and
And some of the sheriff's department has talked about putting a shooting range in there for them to qualify. They need one. Desperately need one. It wouldn't, it's not a big deal to do that.
is there a good place in there?
There's good places over there you can do that. What's the distance you need?
100 yards?
Well, we don't have a sniper there. Would you need 100 yards?
It would be nice, but to
Well,
actually have a qualification range,
You could do it 50, couldn't you?
50.
There's places you could have.
I haven't been over there in a long time.
It's 2 miles side by side.
So what are you all gonna do with that? Do you want me to look to see if it can be sold, or you guys are generally not interested in selling that, or?
I personally am not interested in selling it.
And that. Okay, that property, we absolutely, we have a right of way to access it. The problem is, and I absolutely see Holman's point, this isn't me
Yeah,
taking the state's or anything. That right of way we own and are absolutely allowed to give public access through. However, they run cattle there, and that would cause them major issues, and I absolutely see where they're coming
Cause you
from.
gotta go across their property in
Yes.
order to get to this property.
Right,
Yeah, I get that.
I get their point on it, but that's unfortunately the only right of way we have that's feed access.
Yes. It's on the east side of Gulfport.
Cause we had discussions before about trying to get with, Shriners or whoever owns that golf course, about trying to get a right of way to the golf course, but I don't think anyone was ever able to make any headway.
Well,
on fees in the past.
I know a guy that knows. Let me talk to him.
So,
Jason, you know where the old Lord Teller's place used to be? But the old house is going now, right across the road. We went to.
but Mr. Bradford, we can't really give any public access. If we give public access, we gotta give it to everybody. We can't just give it to a certain few people, even though your property borders it too. So I think that might be part of your question as well.
It was more along the question of concern, the folks that own lots over at Oak Park that's on the opposite side of Holman. We're just trying to keep them safe. There's some elderly folks that live up there, and a lot of traffic folks that were coming in on our side, and I guess they were hunting over there on your ground and thinking that it was all public, but I don't know that that's right, but that's all. We're just looking out for the best interests of the landowners and their families.
Yeah.
It's gonna be posted.
Yeah, that's what I was
Well,
thinking.
maybe we need to visit posting, getting some posted signs up, but we don't know. There is posting, some posted.
Not all around that backside.
okay, I was gonna say parks, we absolutely posted it the last time we discussed it, but I could have them
But
post the other side,
which side did you post?
probably from the Novelty
There's
side.
4 sides.
The Novelty side, I know we posted that access, but I didn't
Then
say.
you got Mill Creek. Then you got the housing development, then you got Holman side.
Yeah, we can definitely, I can have them post the rest of that property. And anybody who's called and asked, we've absolutely told them no. But I can definitely, get the guys up there to post.
Now, back to the topic of the lake quality. We have a lot that goes right up to the lake. Are we still allowed to fish from that embankment and that our adjacent property on that lake?
Would that be a question for the Potomac Valley Conservation?
That's probably for the conservation people.
You got your number.
I gave it to him, he has, he's
You
already
guys
called.
got
it.
it?
Are we
Okay.
still for Mr. Bradford?
Well,
Yes.
if he's allowed to fish, it's ours for the purposes of recreation. They just maintain the quality. So that would be
Yeah.
your all's decision.
All wood.
I don't know if they want.
We physically own that property. They just.
The lake
maintain.
we do, yes.
Well, and everything around.
And around.
Yeah, it's a substantial amount.
70 or 80, 90 acres.
Oh, yeah, it's substantial. piece of
There's
property.
100 or some acres.
You got the property you were.
Yeah.
Actually, I just sent you all everything.
That property he's got, they go right up to the lake.
That's what I.
That's what he said. I didn't know
Oh, God, Aaron, okay, I thought you wanted to see it. I didn't know you guys had.
that. I didn't know a private property owned over to the lake. I didn't realize that.
I don't either.
Looks like there's a citizens. Open Park Estate Citizens Committee owns a piece of it right up to the water's edge, I believe.
If that is accurate, they own 2 acres right along it. So just my personal opinion, I don't think that would be an issue if they stayed on their banks to fish into it, but that's, because that is their property. I mean,
Now, Jason,
Yes, sir.
don't be catching all them big trout out there.
Well, I'm worried that they can't see the daylight.
Jason, I know what's in there. I know where it's very familiar with that.
Yeah,
So I'm just teasing you, by the way.
I know.
I don't really care if they fish it off your property.
I mean, from their access, my guess is when this was subdivided, that was the entire purpose in that, was so that they could have recreational access at least to fish on it, but that's.
What do you guys, I don't care. I'm good with whatever you guys go with. As long as they're on their
And
property.
if they're fishing, do we have to open it up to all the public?
Well, they're fishing from their property.
They're fishing from their property.
Their property then, yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
We don't have, what about you, Doug?
I don't have a problem with it.
We do not have a problem with you fishing from your property,
Okay.
all right?
Yes, sir.
Now, just to let you know, I like fried trout too.
Now, if we talked to Potomac Conservation District about doing some manage to help out of our pockets to help with that lake, we'll talk to them about it. Do we need to bring that to the table if we do that?
It probably wouldn't hurt, since the
Okay.
county.
Yeah,
Yeah, and what are you looking at doing?
Well, I talked to Mr. Mike Nardella out of Wallace, West Virginia. We'd like to bring some trapdoor snails in to help with the leaf and the they eat the organic matter in there that help clear the lake up, and then possibly bring in some triploid carp to help with all the aquatic vegetation that's grown in there. It's pretty thick. They're a sterilized carp. They will not breed or cause any disruption or any issues. That was our thoughts, and maybe talk to you all or somebody about the beavers. They have dammed up the upper side of that Mill Creek so bad that we're worried that even is maybe causing some of the issues.
I'd say talk to them first, and then we'll bring it to us, and I'm not against improving it.
Okay.
I'm not against that at all.
I do think
Okay.
it's a beautiful property that just sits
It
there
it is.
completely unused.
Okay,
Okay. I appreciate your help.
okay, well, enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
No, there's trout in it.
I'd be surprised if there's trout in there.
Well, yeah, I'm telling you right now, they used to stalk Mill Creek,
I just
Heavy.
emailed you all.
And that comes from Mill Creek.
And
and they go downstream, they're right in there.
The water quality ain't good, a lot of vegetation and.
No, I don't know about that, but I know they used to be in there. I'll put it to you that way. All right, new business. We'll get with you in a minute.
Just real quick on that, I did send all 3 of you guys the deed, the memo from John Athey about with all the analysis he did. The GIS workup of the right of way for that property, all of the things I had on that from the first time we talked about it. Just so you guys know you have that here, you know that.
All right, let's go over these CD rates and then we'll get with town authority.
We can't, because you guys already made the decision and I don't know what the decision was. I emailed him that.
But you got, Was it,
That's the thing, I don't know what the decision is either, because there's,
That's what, as soon as, we did it, but we did it in the meeting, but she must have just not have wrote it down. Um,
I remember talking about it, I definitely remember.
so as soon as Annette emails me back though, I'll let y'all know. Like, that wasn't something we went in the back
I'm
and
pretty
did.
sure it's
24 months wasn't the highest interest.
when you were on the phone, you were going to call her. And then you went to executive session, so that was, must have been talked about when you came back out.
Yeah,
It did.
it was.
We did.
Yeah,
I mean, I was in Canada, but we did something.
and I forgot to report at the end. So as soon as I hear back from her, I can let you guys know,
Okay.
but I can't do anything until I get back.
Was the 24 months the lowest, or not the lowest, but 18 months was the highest percentage, wasn't it? Because I wanted to go with the highest percentage.
I thought 18, she come back with 18 and 24 months, same percentage.
Same percentage.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I thought the discussion was you guys didn't want to go with the longer one because you thought interest rates were gonna go up and we were gonna be locked in a lower rate.
He thought the
Yeah,
interest rate.
right. I don't know though. I cannot remember and I can't pretend like I do.
I can't remember the whole detail either.
Let me make sure I didn't send her an email.
Takes the wrong notes.
So her notes had where it was initially discussed, and
Okay,
then apparently when it came out of executive session, she circled some notes that she wrote to the side, 2 years, 3.75%. But who is that with?
How much? 3.75.
yeah,
3.75, it looks like.
it was First United.
No, like,
They resell it.
Who what?
but it's not just with First United, like they have certain.
There's a holder for the CD.
Yeah,
I don't remember you saying
I don't
that.
remember that either.
Well, that's
And
because
which
they
CD?
actually go through Satera and then they sell it to another.
is
vendor.
this the CD from the building reserve, the rainy day, or 911 CD? Which CD is this?
That is the rainy day.
This is one of the rainy day CDs.
This is one of the rainy day CDs.
Just
That's
one of
correct.
them.
Just one of
Okay.
them, yes.
All right. So that, you're done with that? You're good with that?
Okay,
See what happens when you're not here? Molly?
yeah, money just disappears, you don't know where it went.
Wait, so she has written down that we went with 2 years and 3.75?
It's circled, yeah.
Oh, well, that's what it went.
Yeah.
You just need to know who the holder of it is. I don't even know that we talked about that with Annette. I think we just asked.
I
for
don't
rates and
call
her.
in and talk about.
Cause I know whoever they're using is legit, but I can ask her that and then let you know. But yeah, that was, okay. So say, I know that we did that. before. It wasn't like something,
Well, that, it didn't say which CD it was either.
yeah, it's just one of the rainy day ones. It isn't sure. We did discuss that as well, cause it was just. Okay,
Mayor Bob, you want to go? So your people here?
So we're with the water project coming in and tearing up a couple of our roads, discussion with them. They're doing a great job on repairing it. Problem is that they don't go all the way. So we've got enough money for one of the two major roads that they're repairing to finish that out at 13,000. The other one at 18,000 is outside of our reach. The overall problem with streets for us is that based on this year's, the estimates they're giving us for this one, it's gonna cost us about $30,000 a block to repave the roads. Roads haven't been paved since the 80s, early 80s. And that's probably part of the reason they're so expensive, because of distraction. At the rate that, since we've given up all compensation, the rate at which we can put in a block is every 3 years. So that's 21 years to do 7 blocks. Which is still not the entire town, even after you take out the 2 longest streets, which are what are being done. So we'd really like to finish out that other street this year. Just so that, because if we pay them to come back up, we're gonna have to pay all that moving fee and all their equipment and everything. It's the best deal we're gonna get, 18,000. So we're asking if there's any way you could help out with that
Financially?
financially.
I don't know, we'd have to sit down and see what we got.
I suspect there's 2 issues. One is money and the other is that it's a road.
So,
And
Part of
counties are forbidden from roads, right? The state does the roads.
and part of our issue is gonna be, if we give money to you all to help with your roads, we're gonna have all the other 4 towns coming to us wanting money.
Well, you could say just a threshold of 200 people. Then more than 200 people. You know, what's killing me is that I looked into Senator Capito has her, discretionary. So I looked into that, read into all the laws, and Elk Garden cannot apply for funds for our roads. They do roads, but we can't apply because we're too wealthy.
You're too wealthy.
Too wealthy. Right, we are at, about over 90% of the state median, household income. Which sounds really strange until you start to think about the Southwest. You know, with Mingo County, 29,000 something.
Yeah.
So, and it's pegged to a number that I couldn't find, just the non-metropolitan. The total median for the state of West Virginia is, it's a little over 60,000. But for non-metropolitan, it's gonna be lower than that.
What is median for Elk Garden?
Elk Garden is about 50. Well, actually a little over 56, I think. The last number that they had.
But you guys aren't in you don't qualify under like the distressed census tract? Cause like we've done qualification for things before. Cause certain portions of the county are eligible for funds not based on median household income. But the census literally has lines built around areas they consider to be distressed, so that like. It's designed so that areas that are next to wealthy areas aren't just lumped in when there's a special need.
Well, it's described, the requirements for their money is described in 7 CFR 30, I think it's 3750.
Okay.
And that her sheet directs you to it, so I dug through those
Okay.
regulations for anything, and it's graduated on it has to be size and median income. So on the size alone, we could get 90%. They would cover us for 90%. But because of the income, because the western part of this state, we think we're poor. No, that's poor over there. They drag the median income down dramatically. But like Jefferson County are the only ones that are up there. Something anywhere near the median for the country. Yeah, that was quite a
How
lot.
much do you need?
We would need 18,000 for this. To finish out Walnut Street. And it's just, it's just.
Those really are two main streets,
Yeah.
the long streets in town.
The two longest streets in town and, other than maybe,
Maybe the
Center
heaviest
Street.
in travel.
but. So it's great that in one sense, it's great that the water company decided to destroy them. Because then they had to repay them. So we got those are getting paid, in fact, they're working now. But yeah, we're gonna be. Constantly trying to figure out, because that's our main focus, really, for our money is the roads. And so we're gonna have to figure out where can we spend this money, where can we, what's the next block that we can afford to pay for it. 21 years is a long time, especially since it's been since the 80s. But yeah, any help you can give us would be greatly appreciated.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about that, because I don't know. First of all, I don't know how much we got to give. Second of all, just like Doug said, we'd have to give to all the other municipalities, but I'd like to be able to help you. Are there any way that they could get money through the state?
That's what he's talking about, is the community project. Well, I don't know about the
That-
state.
that one, yeah, that
Community
was the
project
federal.
fund would be the only like discretionary,
Rick,
non.
you know of any place?
He's talking about congressional directed spending, which might be in the next fiscal year budget, if approved and all the rest of that. So that's a bit long term. And as Mayor Bob said, apparently, I'm not aware of this, that Elk Garden's too affluent.
Right. Too rich.
I'm thinking right now, I've got a little bit of local economic development assistance funding. You guys are familiar with that. I don't know, I could probably kick in some. I don't know that we get a whole bunch, but we could find various pots to take some money from.
How soon are you needing us to do this too?
Yesterday. Do you think?
Probably within the month,
Yeah, because they're gonna be up there working, but
within a
then
month or so.
they're paving the road today. Well, they pay for the
You don't
ditches.
want them to leave, you wanna do it before the water got to.
Right, it's going to be more expensive if we have to get them to come back.
Is it possible to lend them money? Can we
Money
lend?
doesn't-
You guys can, I mean, you're absolutely allowed to lend money. I guess, I'd have to double check, but you guys have lent money before, but you never got it back.
Well, this would be the time contract, you would have to get it back.
I mean, I don't see why there'd be an issue with lending money to municipality.
Would that be something you guys might be open to? If we lend you the money, you'd have to pay it back, but
Well, that, and if they lend the money and then it'll take Rick a little bit longer,
A year.
and some of the other funds come in, it would give them time to collect some funds.
We're taking all of our money away, so we can pay all that in. How much is that, Ronnie?
So that won't happen until, that'll be next year. All that's 9,000.
Yeah, so that comes this, after this June.
So it's just over the course of the next year, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, I mean, that's something we can definitely have on the table and
Yeah.
negotiate with
No big hurry.
how soon you pay it back, but
And that
That's
was
just-
correcting the boundaries for the taxes, once you start seeing that would.
That would help, but I don't see how that's going to happen. Because I mean, the document we got from the county, you all worked really hard, but it's all why and no what. So I can't take that anywhere and say, okay, these are the boundaries. Because the whole document, I realize it's written by our representation, so it's very difficult for me to argue. But the entire document says, oh, well, these are the current boundaries are incorrect because of this, because of this, because of this. But it never says where they are. And I asked that a map be included, but I doubt that ever happened.
I
Well, you had to pay for the survey.
Right, and that's the other thing, we have to pay for the survey, and that survey charge is apparently going to be exorbitant. So even if we get a solid document, we're never gonna be able to pay for the survey to fix the boundaries before 2100, when 80% of all towns and cities in West Virginia will be gone anyway. According to the state. So I don't see how we're gonna cover a, $15,000 survey or maybe even more. And try to do our roads.
I thought we had a map.
But maybe you had a map, but
It was
it was,
overlay, it wasn't an official meets and bounds.
right, Jason said he was going to talk to his folks, but given that he seemed to have veered away from,
So Jill needs a meets and bounds map.
Same with voter too. I need a map that says this is the map.
so
So we really didn't fix anything with the boundaries.
Right.
Great.
it was a great
That
effort.
was a lot of work.
It was a great
Yeah.
effort on all sides and a lot of pain and stress and anger and everything else. And at the end, I've gotten a little frustrated about that whole thing.
But I thought we did clarify the beginning point as to what the intention was. I thought that was part of the last order.
We can look it
That
up.
order was. That order is not what I would have entered, but. Cause it didn't really say anything, It was a lot of pages of nothing, it's basically what it came down to.
that's the one Jason read.
But I think the
But
intention
you-
was that it was going to eventually go into court and then it would be battled out. in court.
But I guess if you don't have a survey, the order doesn't even matter because it's not.
Can't do anything with it, even if it was perfect, couldn't do anything with it.
Because Jason felt confident he could defend that order, which is why he did that, but. See, I know I'm not in here. But, well, okay, the roads is what we're actually discussing here, I'm sorry, wow, that wasn't even me.
The money issue came into it, didn't it?
I'll tell you what, here's my suggestion, let's look into making sure we can legally lend you some money. And if we can do that, you guys think about terms, when to pay back, what will be comfortable for you all. And that way, we're covered, and then we're not giving money to the town, and then we're gonna get hammered from other towns wanting money. And this will help you guys out so that you can get your streets paved and you can pay back the money. Does that sound good to you? All right,
Thank you.
you guys in favor of that? You two in favor of that?
The only thing about that is it needs to know before the end of the month is our last meeting this month.
You need to, for the end of this month?
I think we got 4 weeks after,
May
So
15th.
the next meeting, we ought to,
yes.
Okay, so you guys can have details by the next meeting to see if that's gonna work for you.
that's May 13th.
Well, I guess you're gonna be checking to see if they can legally then.
Yeah, I will definitely check in on either side.
And this will probably come up in front of the whole council and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
The other thing,
When's your next meeting on?
the seventh, seventh.
First Sunday? Is
Nope.
seventh Sunday?
Oh, we can't do that anymore because two of our members have full-time jobs with odd hours. So we have to do it every week, every month. We set the
Oh, you
next.
change it, but your next meeting is May the seventh.
May the seventh.
That's
the
the
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah. I've seen that.
Oh, it's Thursday. That would be an eight. Eight would be for looking.
Yeah, I think,
I got you Thursday.
okay, so it's the eighth, Thursday. the eighth.
So I'm gonna check with the ethics commission and the state auditor's office.
We're at 6:30.
Else you guys can come.
Some of our people go to bed pretty early.
Would be, that's good. So I'll listen to how this, both of those entities will actually, it's already render independent for us, so that's why I was. I can find, I mean, I can. figure out this, and this is what's called practice.
My hearing is fine qualitatively, this horrible quantitatively.
Yeah.
Nerve damage. So anything else is going on? I may as well be
See,
speaking.
that
Greek.
just sounds like a big, right now, if you could hear my ears, they're ringing. My ears rings constantly, non-stop.
Getting old sucks.
It's not for sissies, is it?
So just,
But
just,
better than the alternative.
all right, so just to confirm, we're gonna check on the legal side that we can do that. And you guys are gonna get together and determine what kind of terms and stuff you can live with to repay back a loan.
And
We should have some information to give to them before their May
Yes.
8th meeting.
And if you all are feeling confident about this, I would like to be able to go ahead and get the contract ready for that 12th meeting too.
I'm good with it.
So if you can figure out what terms and stuff would be good, I can come up with kind of something more
Yeah.
generic, run it by Charlie and then have it at that May 12th meeting.
Yeah.
So just,
13.
whatever, yes, sorry, whatever date I show up. Whatever my calendar says. the 13th.
And if I could put in a request, I don't want to jump this meeting, but if you could put on the new business for that one also for
Yep.
a discussion of what we do about decrepit properties.
Okay.
We'd had a brief discussion before about maybe the towns all getting together, because we can't afford a building inspector. Yeah, I'm sure we're not the only one who can't afford to hire out a building
And
inspector.
we talked to that REIT and they said we had to come in front and use there was one abandoned place that's fallen out into where town park. Where the kids and stuff playing, I mean, it's ready to go, and landing.
So we're just trying to figure out how to navigate all this.
I know Rick's been kind of involved in some dilapidated property stuff, but. And I know Piedmont's been successful in getting some money. The only thing I don't know is how you gain control of that property to tear it down. Like, what's that process?
That's what we need the building inspector for.
Okay,
We
well,
have to
Piedmont's
we have to
not a
find
building
them.
Inspector though, has been able to, what have you guys been doing to get those properties?
And if I understood it correctly, and this wasn't my project, but our attorney has to send out condemnation letters and basically say, here's your condemnation letter. You got your choice. I'm either gonna condemn your property or I'm gonna give you $100 for it. And then we could not do any dilapidated buildings till we physically owned them, city of Piedmont. And that's what Jason Sykes went through, every one of those properties. Once we gained control, then we had the freedom to use the grant money.
In order to condemn it, you need a building inspector to say this
Well,
building's unsafe.
But you guys, that's what I'm trying to figure out. You guys don't have a building inspector. Who's determining the buildings?
I'm assuming Jason did, but
Okay.
our attorney sent condemnation letters.
There's
Okay,
probably something that happened before that,
okay.
because obviously.
But Jason's
attorney
also
can-
your attorney, right?
The whole side of the building's gone.
Right, it's all obvious, but somebody certified has to say so.
Well,
We all
right.
know that that thing is horrible, but anybody walking by would know it's horrible,
Well,
but
that's
you
what
need
I'm
somebody with a certification to say, yep, it's
Do you
horrible.
think Jason's doing like something under eminent domain or something?
Well, I don't know about specifically what he is doing on that. I'm looking into the laws on it. I know that they have to be, building has to be condemned.
Right, we have a building safety committee, but we don't have, we've struggled with having an engineer or a building inspector. That's our problem as well. Actually, Paula just sent me a letter before this meeting, but I sent it over to planning for the building safety committee to look at. But our problem is, building safety committee, we don't have qualified individuals to do the job, because there's actual work to it. It's not just like you have to have a professional engineer on the committee. And we had someone, but it's just complicated because people don't want to do all that work
Rick,
for free.
what come up in legislation this year about properties need cleaned up and this stuff? There was something in it and I can't recall. Did that pass? What did it consist of? Do you recall?
Not enough to increase the detail there.
I don't remember everything either, but I know there was a bill pertaining to that.
I don't think it
Yeah,
went
and I don't
anywhere.
even, the one I'm thinking of, I don't think it went anywhere. I don't recall if it even got across the line. But the key components of the dilapidated building program is folks from Piedmont are recounting is you identify the properties and then the properties you do have to go, if you're gonna try to, you have to acquire them ultimately. But if you're going to acquire them, part of that process could be, if they're not voluntarily gonna turn them over, is condemnation, which you need a building inspector, basically. I think we've talked in the past, at least informally, that the county ought to have one, because it's not unique to Piedmont.
You know, we've definitely had the discussion. It's just been funding for the.
Well, and the question that I've pondered is, do they have to be full-time? Or can you do it by contract? That would be an awful lot cheaper,
Yeah,
especially if you're just talking about residential homes. That becomes an awful lot cheaper because there's a lot of those people around.
We're getting a lot of places, not just in municipalities, that need cleaned up.
Shit out here.
Yes.
Well-
Nobody do not. No, you're going.
so when we had the discussion though, even contractually, we never necessarily budgeted anywhere to pay for that person. That's why, cause I had mentioned that, like a contract with RK&K or, something like that, that would be on an hourly basis. But some of these structures you are talking, I mean, if you're $150 an hour, some of these structures probably do have 8 or 10 hours worth of work. So you're talking about just to write the true report that's necessary.
$2,000.
Yeah,
You could.
so that's what, cause I agree, it would be nice. There's a property in Wallingford that's going to collapse. That we've looked at, we've done all the things, but we just don't. We can't get across the finish line because we don't have a certified person to sign off on it. So,
So HB 3133 did pass. And allows counties and municipalities to enter into memorandum of understanding for demolition of dilapidated structures. Without reading the intimate details there.
You see, I'd like to see the state do that, then it would take a little funding away from us, right?
Well, that's probably why that passed.
I know, that's exactly what-
Push that onto the.
Discuss.
HB 37.
3133, I'm trying to get internet to participate. So,
when that Comcast their network upgrades, something like the Allen Hewitt. It doesn't matter right now.
What do you need?
The Allen Hewitt.
It was right there. I put it right back on your desk.
It's okay, sorry, that's not a necessary thing right now. We can find that later, but I just noticed it was missing.
Look here, it should be right there.
Oh, it is. It was under the remote. Okay, sorry. Well, if you can let me know about the terms and stuff that though, I can definitely get a great break for the next meeting and
Yeah. We want to do the
we
help.
can discuss with them.
We gotta, after we decide what they are, we gotta get them up. ASAP.
all right, so I'm reading the new code in chapter 7. In addition to the authority granted by this section, a county commission may demolish dilapidated structures within municipalities when a memorandum of understanding exists in which the municipality seeks the aid of the county commission to remove or destroy or demolish certain dilapidated properties. In those agreements, the parties may use the procedures outlined in this section of code or 8-12-16. That's like on page 3 of 17 pages. I haven't read them all. That
just gives us the authority that with the memorandum of understanding with the municipality,
right, so
so
you
the county can go in
charge.
and take care of it.
Right, this doesn't become effective though until early July.
What was that?
The bill number is 3133.
That was HR.
House bill 31.
Was it House bill or Senate bill?
House bill. It's a House bill, yeah. I'll send you each a link to it.
Why don't unpaid taxes get reported to your credit? Cause like a lot of Piedmont's problem is people buy stuff on tax sale and they just don't pay the taxes on it because they don't want it. Like, if people,
I'll send you.
like, I wonder. Why are not paying your taxes? Why is that not reported to your credit? That would stop people from buying stuff and just not paying the taxes the next time around. Sorry, we're off topic. Yeah,
Probably would cost money to do it.
probably,
That whole thing is that you've got money, it would cost more money than it's worth.
probably.
Taxes can be a one name. But the properties under, I mean.
Yeah, true, too. Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Right. This is Sally's her spirit too.
Yeah, she's not here.
The last
She's the guy.
appointment, so
Yeah.
I just put that time. I had spoken to her about a time.
She missed an appointment, so we don't.
Probably want to research on the road, see if I have some. Stand first, I gotta see. Inbound.
Did you tell her too?
No, I haven't given her a time, she just said looking on her last appointment.
I bet you she thinks it's a clear day.
No, I sent her the agenda, so just.
I don't look at time on the agenda else.
All right.
I did see the other, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Additional debt, where'd Joel go?
Do you want me to have Cassandra call her?
No, let it go. I didn't really want to. All right, Joel gets back. Let's get down to, West Virginia Corp annual insurance renewal.
Yep, got that. I did send it to your emails. The renewal rate is. I thought I would have marked that on just the signature page. It did go up a little bit compared to last year. For workers' compensation. It is 51,347. And for our property and general liability. It is, oh, sorry, workers' comp is included in this. It's $191,119 total. For all property, inland marine, general liability, law enforcement liability, public officials, automobile, crime, excess, environmental, cyber risk, and workers' comp. 191.
119.
Oh, that includes workers' comp?
Yes, that does include the workers' comp, yes. Sorry, they've got a breakdown on the last page, but everything's together on this page. Please.
Make a motion, we approve that, insurance renewal.
I second it. Approve that also. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but we have a lot
Well, I
of
know
stuff
we
covered in
do.
there.
There's a lot of stuff covered there.
There, there's a lot.
Okay, Joel, additional deputy position.
Oh, yes, sir.
The additional deputies.
Additional deputies.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to pick up two already certified, officers. We require minimum cost at our expense. We have, what they would do is have to get their packets together and go before lapses for subcommittee, get the approval. And they would have to do a 2-week sit-in to get their certifications. Have 2 officers right now that are ready and on board to go over.
But they haven't tested anything. They haven't tested or anything.
No, we have to get the approval for it. Then if we get the approval, get them in, have them tested, get the packets to Lepsis. And schedule them, which is July the 14th, is the sitting class. If not, then it's another 3 months before the next sitting class comes in.
But you're just more or less talking of the emergency hire process,
Exactly.
but is it not really an emergency since they're extras?
Doesn't have to be an emergency to hire.
So then one of these would actually fill a spot, because when you have a pro officer, we still need. So either
Officer.
one of your current deputies is gonna go into a pro, or one of these two is gonna go into a pro.
One of the 2 coming in, or the one currently that we have to start the academy of the
And you're gonna kind of help pay the other one with cutting down some of the overtime.
like we discussed before, after the last meeting we had, I went back to either March or May of last year. And over 90% of our overtime is having to fill coverage. Not from unexpected overtime issues like an officer having to cover or overtime due to an extended call. Over 90% of the overtime is spent bringing an officer off duty to come in and cover one of the shift that a deputy decides to take leave 1 or 2 days, sick day, maintain that three deputy minimum. That is a lot of money spent on working overtime because we just don't have the manpower to have not 1, not 2, but 3 floaters. Which means if you have 4 working per shift, then you have 1 guy call off, you don't have to fill it. You still have your 3 minimum. You have 2 call off, you still got 3 floaters to pull from anywhere. So it would have to take 5 people going off in order to cost 1 in overtime.
That would put us at 18 officers.
Well,
17.
no, 17,
And then 1 pro officer.
one's gonna be pro officer, and probably within the next year, you're gonna have at least 1 retire.
Which is why it would be nice to actually have the 3. There's knowing within the next 6 months, we're going to be losing 1 anyway.
Since these officers are already trained and stuff, do they already have ranks? Since these officers are already trained,
Everybody comes in.
They started.
they started, okay.
Yeah, they would be, one of which is already certified to West Virginia, which is already taken civil service. He was already a deputy here for over a year. Again, being able to have the 2 additional slots, it's much easier to fill a school resource officer than it is to hire a competent certified deputy.
How soon are you wanting these to start?
July 1, didn't you say?
It'd be nice to have the approval, because come
Are you saying?
July 1 would be the first date of hire, which would give us 2 weeks to get things going, and the 1 deputy is not gonna need any training at all as far as when it comes to how things are working. It just, within 2 days, he would be up to speed on any additional things that would change within the department as far as policy, procedures, and paperwork. The other one would take 2 weeks to be up to speed, and then we have them both in the sit-in class. And again, they're on a year probation after that, still. So, but by mid-August, we've got 2 deputies on the road working, covering shifts. If not sooner. And again,
I know our money's tight, but I hate to give up an opportunity to these 2 trained deputies that are wanting to come here, so.
and to speak honestly, I know I have $100,000 in my next budget for the new fiscal year. Again, I can tell you with some pretty darn good assurity that that 100,000 is gonna be cut way down. I would say the overtime for the next fiscal year with the manpower will be less than $30,000, because we have separate budgets set up for holiday pay, apple harvest, and I can't make that, those are separate line items, so that's not coming out of the overtime.
If the school takes one of them, they pay for one.
They pay it,
And
and
you
again,
save enough on the overtime to take care of the other, and then when somebody retires.
either one gotta hire a new deputy, or just, if giving 2 additional slots and still have those 3, like I say, it's gonna be easier to find a school resource officer than it would be to hire a road deputy.
I will, I'll make a motion, we approve it.
2 more?
Yeah.
I second it, and I agree with that also. Well, one of them you gotta realize is going to the school. So,
If you approve the 2 additional slots, again, I can still keep him, but we have until mid-August to either one, put him into the school or keep him at road and possibly find, like I said, finding a certified officer, somebody like me that's already retired and been certified, it's easier to fill that school resource than it is to hire. Laura, how many applicants did we have in the last testing? How many we start off with?
Oh, we started with 12, but we quickly got down to 5 that tested.
And ended up with 1.
and while we can get good people, I think we ought to take them, because
Yes, sir.
we know right now that there's, within the next few months, 4 of them is eligible for retirement. 3 of them is eligible right now. It's not gonna be long, we're gonna have 4.
Within the next 6 to 8 months, we will be losing 1.
Well, I think he's gonna stay for a year, cause there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
well,
stay
yeah.
At least another year.
Within 6, we could have 1 go, but within the next year, we will have 1, and then the next 4 will going to lose 3.
Yeah.
And you're good on equipment for 2 additional?
I spoke to Roger, with the equipment we have, there's no need for additional purchasing, we'll just maintain the fleet that we have, and continue with the same vehicle purchase that we have, what is it, 1 and 4?
I think it's 1 every year, 1, yeah, 4,
Yeah.
4 every other year and 1 on the years we don't buy 4.
And
What we've got.
even maintaining that, we're still gonna be able to manage our fleet. And again, like I told you before, there are some things that I'm used to doing. State police, which is being implemented with the sheriff's department, which is every quarter, firearms and equipment is going to be inspected.
Did we put 4 cruisers in the next fiscal year is the 1?
Yeah,
Yes, okay.
yeah, just 1.
The 4 is the next year, okay. Alright.
And I spoke to Roger about that, and as soon as the decaling gets done and the install of the cameras on the current fleet that we have now is almost finished, those will be in the mix of getting put out quickly.
Piece of those sold.
Yeah, there's a ton of there.
Yeah.
That
We
expedition,
just sell what we have right now that can be sold, I mean.
would you believe that expedition sold for $2,400?
Wow.
40,000 miles and they roughed it out everywhere and it sold for $2,400.
Gov.com.
There's quite a few 750.
Yeah.
It's all from
Does he have
Texas.
any of them ready to go to sell?
The new ones,
The old ones that need to be sold.
that's what I was gonna say, I can get you a list of everything that we have that needs surveyed and what is gonna be able to be maintained as a roadworthy vehicle for the deputy. I would have that for you, if you need it by tomorrow, I can get it by then.
Well, I know we're waiting for them to strip the stuff that can be stripped before they can be sold. That's what we've been waiting on.
I think there's 11 that could be sold, but they have just the bare minimum stuff in them that we can't sell them with it in, like there's radios and a lot of them. And he needed to strip those. So
When
that,
were you wanting to sell them by?
2 years ago. We've been waiting.
and we realize that's not on you,
Yeah,
but yeah, 2 years ago, like they've been,
yeah.
there's a ton of cruisers just sitting up there. that
I will
are
have the
used.
number.
We
And
just need them stripped so we can sell.
I will get the number to you by the end of the week. And by the end of May, they will be ready.
See it too, and hear the comments. Why are they buying more when they've got all these laying around?
Buying more what?
vehicles.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, why are they buying more vehicles when they just got all these laying around? So
And
people do pick up on that.
and I've mentioned just sending someone up there to like cut the radios out, but I don't wanna damage the stuff that is
no,
usable.
no,
Like,
I would much rather have, because we'd like to salvage out of there what we can, that way we
Yeah.
can reuse.
Exactly.
right.
So I'll have that list done. And by the end of the week to you, and by the end of May, they'll be ready to be sold, if not sooner.
Good.
Well, and even if Roger just showed one of the guys how to do it, like how to disconnect the radios and stuff.
Now, we're gonna get a group of guys together that know how to do it. And be done.
Yeah, whenever those are ready, just let me know, we'll get it listed.
If you don't mind, we're gonna bring them to your house because you have more room than where we need.
If you need a place,
You've already got all your evidence at the 911 center,
if you
so.
need a place to store them to get them taken out, bring them
We're
over.
good. We'll move what we need out of the building, we'll move what we need out there to pull them in and get it out. That way, when we're moving it out, we can store the stuff right there instead of having to move everything. But by the end of the week, I'll have you a list of what will be surveyed, and by the end of the month, they'll be ready to go.
We'll put them back there around Chris's house.
Yard.
Huh?
Yard.
Yeah, okay, we're good there. All right, your K-9 seminar.
Mineral County has been asked to host the canine seminar next year. It's April of next year. That's a pretty big deal, apparently, in that division. At any given time. During that, I believe it's a week-long process, you'll have 80 to 100 additional officers within the county. So not just bringing the training here, you're bringing money into the county.
That'll probably start on around the 12th,
Yes.
because it's a week after Easter next year.
Now, to go in line with that, I know in the past, Lauren, do you have any idea, just off the top of your head? I know there was $2,000 just in lodging for the 4 guys.
You told me when you talked to Chris, I believe it was about that, your secretary there.
Yeah, I
He
believe,
said $4,000.
yeah, up to the $4,000.
Yeah,
But then we have lodging registration.
Yeah.
and,
yeah.
That's
it's around
just
4,000.
for the week. Now, that would be excluded from our costs next year for that. However, there would be some costs incurred, not that is a mandatory thing, but things we like that. I believe they do have a banquet by the end of the week.
Yeah, they like to have that on Wednesday night.
But I have a copy, which I'll give you guys, a copy of the check that was paid to Mineral County Commission for the contract that was held up on, what's the name of that tower, Luke?
Up by Kaiser, the
The
PBS tower.
Yeah. Rick, can I borrow your glasses?
Oh, I love that. Trading glasses.
The amount of that check that
Oh,
was paid to the
serious?
county is $7,305. I would ask permission to place that money. Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, I missed it.
If we can set a line item for that and have that money placed in there specifically for that purpose. And I don't believe to any extent it is going to cost that much, but use that money for whatever expenses we have for that canine seminar. And by the end of the seminar, you guys choose what you want to do with the rest.
Sounds like a good idea. What's your thought?
I'm in favor of that.
I am too. Okay, should I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion, he takes that money and puts it back for this K-9 seminar.
So we can set up a department.
Yep.
Does that work? We put it in there now, will it carry over to the next week?
Yes.
Let me
All
hold
we'll have
that.
to do is we'll do a budget revision, which.
Yeah,
I already have
right.
one anyway for the next meeting.
That feel good.
We'll do a budget revision to seven up this.
He's used to
fiscal
holding
year,
cash that
and
much, that much
the
cash.
First budget revision for the new fiscal year, we'll add it into that.
He's taking our chairs.
You need that copy of that or anything?
It's already been deposited into general county.
No, it hasn't been deposited yet. We just got it. And it is it's in my safe in my office for the time being. I wanted to be able to talk to you.
Is it gonna be an issue to pay for catering and stuff out of general county?
If it's for a training, there's different things. I mean,
Well, I mean, I was gonna say, cause if it is, we could send it to the Deputy Sheriff's Association instead. So none of it had to come out of general county. If it's gonna be an issue, but if it's not, that's fine.
if we're hosting a training, that's different than you hosting a party. I mean, So it's like, there's a big difference between training and parties. We'll double check on that. Who made that motion though?
I second it.
And I approve it also. Great, sweet.
If we discuss sell the old firearms, or we need to put that on for the next meeting?
Oh, maybe else, maybe I don't know. I thought they were taking the pistols they took, right?
No, we sold it.
They're sold.
Well, one of them, they were giving you credit for. They got presented, they didn't get credit for.
State. Talking about the state things? Or are you reading that?
No, this is not to the state treasurer's office.
No,
This
this
is
is
our.
sold to-
You know, when you made the presentation for the funds, that there was the old sale of the old ones, we're gonna cover that cost.
Yeah, what we talked about is when we asked the commission if we could purchase the county to purchase them. We didn't have to do that. I had enough in my equipment budget to cover the cost of those. But what I'm talking about is we were able to finalize the sale of those yesterday to Boss Guns. He purchased everything from us. What I was going to ask to do is to have that put back into my equipment fund. There's a couple things we discussed earlier about port security. And all the management. Luke and I are gonna work together on coming up with a camera system. Whatever needed for them, that they wanna be able to view their portion of the building and interior and exterior. But we can't connect them to the system that we have, because why do?
Because they would just have to see all the same cameras that court security does.
It brings
It would be-
it doesn't run, and it would bring everything that we have to a halt. The security at the front door, it would freeze up everything, we'd be able to do it. But what I offered to do was to take whatever the cost of that is to buy the camera system for Magic Court out of that money. I'm not, but fund to purchase that for them to put in.
It's going to end up being about 1,500. At ease sent the switch they would recommend. It is $100 more than what we're looking at. So I got $1,062 in the card right now, not including cables or I gotta double check how many mounts we have left and stuff. So you're right, you're around 1,500.
So this is inside magistrate court for the magistrate clerks.
Yeah, well, it's going to be placed there, it's going to be owned by the county, the sheriff's office. We're purchasing it, but it's going to be placed in their portion of the building for security.
It's literally just 4 cameras that would be just for them. They're redundant cameras, but it's the only way we can figure out so that they can see their sleep. Is the long story short.
Without seeing the rest of the building.
Without seeing them. Well, seeing the rest of the building isn't even the problem necessarily. It was a long discussion. Meeting.
Not just one, but several discussions. How many times have we met with people?
Yeah, there's a lot of problems surrounding, because it's not even that anyone cares if they can see other portions of the building. The internet won't support them having tablets for 5 additional people to be watching cameras all the time. And then if we run a splitter off the current NVR, they have to watch what court security watches, and they watch the courtrooms in the office, but they don't watch them out by the front door. So like, they wouldn't even be able to see the courtroom, which is one of the things they want to see. So it's a whole.
And when we add that additional amount to that server, am I saying the right word, when we add.
It's a word.
Yeah, we add that many more to it,
It slows it down.
it frees up everything at the front door. So.
Okay.
It's just not effective.
So this camera would be for outside their door, the back door to the park as they leave, and the hallway and the court. And then
Any
there
of
would be
the old,
five additional monitors for them to be able to see.
can any of the old cameras that were put up in 24 or 23, 24 be utilized that aren't being utilized?
Those are all being utilized. That's what's running the new NVR.
So all cameras, sorry.
And actually, the cameras are the cheapest portion. It's $318 for the DVR and the cameras. It's the TVs, the HDMI splitter, and the cabling is where the cost is.
I'm good with that. When you use that money to cover those, you want that money to go back in your equipment fund so that you can use, purchase the camera system for the magistrates, for the magistrate court.
Yes, sir. Now, again, that would still be owned by the county,
Yeah,
meaning that if it's something they did not choose to want, use, or whatever here in the future, it will stay with the county.
I think it stayed.
And how much, what was sold and how much did you get for it?
For the cameras,
The guns,
$6,900.
is that all the pistols and all the rifles replaced?
Just the pistols.
Just the pistols, okay.
We're going to keep. Most likely, we're going to keep the majority of all the good rifles that we still have. All the Springfields are all going to be outfitted with suppressors to put in the switch for the SROs. What I intend to do with additional rifles that we have that are still in good functionality is I will place one of them in the cruisers of all the SROs. Therefore, they're not carrying a rifle in and out of the school every single day. They can have one inside the school locked up for the purposes of having it there, which will be the one fitted with the suppressors. Anything outside of that we are not going to keep, I will make contact with Ross, and he said he would purchase whatever we don't choose to keep at that point.
Then you decided not to purchase the shotguns, didn't you?
That we did not purchase. Right.
Okay, so you made the motion to,
I'll make a motion if we do that way.
And I second this.
and I approve that also. It gets with you. You have anything else to come up?
The contract funds, that was, he already discussed it, that was the next thing.
Yeah, that's already taken care of. You don't need any other motions or nothing?
I think that's everything.
You got everything? Okay, good deal. All right, I
Thank you
reckon,
all.
huh?
Thank you. Mind if I take off?
No, sir, you right ahead.
Can I go ahead and order this stuff?
Yes, sir. Did you get
I'll
everything?
drop it off to Chris so she can code it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
Office of Governor's Proclamation for Good Friday,
Just for record's sake,
just for record's
that's,
sake.
that's one here.
What that consists of is, half a day on Good Friday. Courthouse was closed for 4 hours, yeah, well, half a day, I'd say. That's what,
24/7.
no, this year, this is last Friday. Yeah, last Friday. You got extra pay for that, didn't you? So do I hear a motion to approve the governor's proclamation on Friday?
Yeah, so I wanna add, before we get to the motion part, I just wanna add that his proclamation was a little different than what Governor Justice had done. And where it actually had language in there that actually excluded local government. So we didn't necessarily, I feel like we didn't necessarily have to do it, but we did give the employees half a day, and then the employees that were 24/7, they got 4 hours of holiday. Whereas in the past, we did 6, or did, because they do 12-hour shifts, they would do 6, we did 4. And that's honestly the problem that I've had with the way Justice did his holidays, because it would just cost us a lot of money in overtime and holiday pay with the deputies and the 911 operators. It just cost the county a lot of money that we never planned on. This was a little different. Felt like we had to do it, but we also felt like we didn't have to do it as well. So we did make the choice. The other commissioners agreed with me on the 4 hours for the overtime, and so I'll make a motion that we do it that way, which we already did, but after the fact.
So moving forward, because these holidays are always something to figure out.
They are.
When the governor declares holidays, even those type, could we not just make a policy that we do what he's declaring? But if it's an additional holiday outside of our calendar, we always just give 4 or 8. If that's your biggest concern, like even if he declares, but if it's an additional holiday, I am not lobbying for my people to not get paid 12 hours on Christmas. But for an additional holiday, then you just always do the 8 and the 4, and then it's not always a thing, like when he declares, we just now. Or we can just do it the way we do it, either way's fine.
Well, the holiday schedule already says any days declared by the governor. But still, it doesn't really happen that often. It does seem like got
feel
a
like
lot
it happens
last year.
every other week.
We got a lot last year because it was an election year, let's face it, that's why we got so many last year. But it's not,
It'll probably happen this year at Christmas time, because Christmas falls in the middle of the week. It'll probably happen.
I honestly don't wanna make a policy at this moment in time, right now.
case by case.
Just take it on a case by case basis,
Exactly.
way I feel about it.
Because if he declares, because the holidays already, if the president or the governor declares, so if they clearly declare it for all employees, then that's not even.
I bet he's not gonna do it for all employees. though.
No, and
This is
that's-
what he's gonna do every
Well, I
single
think
time.
Marcy understands how it affects the counties more, and I think that's why he worded it.
I think
different.
Jerry personally talked to him about it, and I'm sure others.
Yeah.
Oh, so.
But being the attorney side of it, the finance side, he understands that.
Okay, we don't have anything else come up for the commission? You got anything? I was gonna get to that. I'm talking about regular business.
Okay.
We don't have anything other regular business other than our bills and reports. You have anything to add?
Excuse me, I sent you the link about dilapidated buildings, and in doing that, I have a correction. That bill was effective upon passage.
Oh, it was, so it's in.
Right, well, I don't know the governor signed it.
Yeah, I don't know if he's signed. He signed a few, but I don't think he signed them all yet.
Yeah, and I don't understand that process. They wait forever sometimes to sign it.
No, evidently, he went through and picked through the budget and vetoed some line items, is that what he did?
That's an interesting conversation, yes.
That seems kinda, I didn't get all into the nuts and bolts of it, but I thought that seemed kinda different.
Did the lines he vetoed needed to be looked at?
Well,
That's
he
my
has
question.
that authority.
I know, but I'm saying, do you feel that they needed to be looked at then?
I think that, some of the choices that were made were probably not choices I would have made. I'm being very political in how I'm saying that. I think that, there were things that, there are a lot of programs that don't get funding. So taking away any money from those that do get funded normally leaves some hurt. Regardless.
There's a lot of organizations right now that needs funding that's not getting much, that are hurting.
Right, and this is perhaps off topic for your meeting, but as I told people, and I'll say again at our legislative dinner here on the 29th, right? If it comes up, one of the good things about our state is we have a balanced budget requirement. So like most of us at home, when the car breaks down, you have to make a decision. Are you going on vacation or are you fixing the car? And the state has to do that too, so we make hard decisions. So occasionally, very worthy things just don't get it.
I do love that we have that though, unlike the federal government. where we
I
just
wish the
continue to
federal
borrow.
government had
I mean, so. Draw our loans and make stuff.
Yeah,
The people don't have nothing to share?
No, we'll just, last time I think I was here, we talked about have a potential emergency backup water proposal from Washington. Piedmont has not decided on that, as opposed to a second well. I had some informal discussions with Westernport today. From our standpoint, everyone's well aware of the rate we pay them for raw water, supposedly just for raw water. And I believe we will find out that's not where the money's going. So we are taking exception to it, giving them a chance to come up with a remedy before we decide what action we need to take. We've already had 26% rate increase, followed by a 16% rate increase. And this is just to keep our head above water. And can't continue. Absolutely not. We've We just got the title opinion. The last title opinion for the land we need. We are hoping by the end of the week, the job in Piedmont will go out for bid. To get this well up and running. We do not need our raw water storage tank in service to switch off. To go on to well water. And Westernport is well aware that my biggest issue with our raw water, emergency raw water agreement is charging us even if we're using the water for fire protection. That bothers me greatly. Nobody pays for fire water.
Except. It's crazy.
If we come up with a remedy on the raw water cost, they have a better chance of us considering using them as an emergency water source, but at $300 a day, it's something I will consider, and of course,
Is that
everyone knows I will.
that $300 a day while you're using it or all the time?
No, if we open the valve and get 1 gallon of water out of it, it's $300.
Okay.
Which I think no one, not sneaking up on anybody to say, if I open the valve for 1 gallon, it's open for 23 hours and 59 minutes, because the cost is the same. And actually, if you read the agreement, it varies month to month. They're taking this $9,450 and in January divided by 31 days. And in February divided by 28 days, and in March divided by 31, in April divided by 30.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
don't get it, but that's their alternative. Of course, needless to say, everyone knows come July 1st, will be my call. I'm sure it will be pushed until a fair remedy is achieved.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions, anything to add? Good,
Yes, sir.
okay. Well, other than going through the bills, we're pretty much done.
Reports.
And
Thank you.
reports. All right, Luke, you wanna give your?
Yeah, I do have a couple of things. I do have this letter.
Get that application.
In reference to Blue Hole. I'll have you guys sign that. This is on the next commission agenda. I emailed it to Lauren. Missy needs a new truck. You all knew that. I was working with her on it. After some initial discussions, she decided she wants to go back to a small truck, like a Canyon or a Tacoma or a Ranger or something like that. They said they're easier to get around, that kind of thing. So their cage doesn't fit the Canyons, but because now you can only buy those vehicles in a crew cab, you used to be able to buy them in an extended and get a longer bed. But Mineral Fab feels confident they can, or Pro Stainless, whoever makes them, I can't remember who makes them, can cut their current one down. And these trucks are actually like $8,000 cheaper than the full size. So, again, it's on the next commission agenda, but just as an FYI, so we can get a Colorado from Timbrook for $36,052.94. A state bid Ranger is $34,889. And a state bid Tacoma is $37,354. Missy's good with the Ranger at the lowest price. There is like 55,000 in the dog fund or something.
We've been holding on to it for Trump.
Yeah, so she'll be able to cover that. What I wanted to bring it up today is though, what we've done in the past is if a local dealership will match the state contract, we just go with them. Are you guys okay with me checking with Timbrook to see if they'll match that? And then at the next meeting, you can award it. Okay. They do, no matter what, it has to be ordered. She knows that, but she's good with the Ranger. We already did that. I finished finished is a strong word. Our annual ARPA report, there's still, an allocation issue in the report that it won't let me correct. I sent out a message to their support again this year, but last year was 6 months before they responded. And you can't get into the portal until April 1st and it closes on April 30th. So I was able to figure out a workaround last year and just send them documentation. However, I did fail to allocate $14.68. So we will have to write a check to Treasury for that, for the $14. That was a calculation error. At some point, when we reimbursed the PSD, I reimbursed them like $14 too low. But of 5.2 million, I feel like a $14 error is not the end of the world. And the only other thing on that is I do need to look at how much interest has been earned. None of that's been allocated, but I think we either need to just transfer that into rainy day or back into general county at some point, because there's definitely been well over $10,000 worth of interest in that account. Over the last several years, it's not been allocated anywhere. But we will have to send a check to Treasury $14. And I'll get that submitted just as soon as I can. Everything's done on it except for the Elk Garden project. We expended $22,000 on it before we canceled it. Initially, it was a major project because it was over 50,000. After we canceled the project, you can't lower any obligation that was previously over 50,000. You can't lower the obligation below 50,000, but we only have 22,000 in expenditures. And I can't change the project because you can't reclassify expenditures after you submit it. So there's $27,000 that it looks like we've over obligated, but it's just because they won't let me reduce the Elk Garden project from 50 to 22. So like I said, I've submitted documentation to Treasury and I've reached out to their support again, hoping they'll get back to me before the end of the month, but it has to be submitted by April 30th, and it's only open for 30 days a year, which I think is the stupidest thing in the world. I actually think that's all I have, under my report. Got to take care of the drawdown. Yeah, that's all I've got. Now get your signatures after.
So the last commission meeting was April 8th, the 15th commission levy. We had that meeting, went to Burlington Fire Department on the 15th as well. Piedmont City Council, April 16th. 17th, we had a building commission meeting. Also on the 17th, walk through the courthouse. Dutch and I did. Looked at the different projects that were going on. We looked at the concrete, we looked at the annex, looked at everything. Still a lot of work to be done. It's getting close.
For a punch list, or you
yeah,
just in general?
Just in general.
Just
Yeah.
in general.
Okay.
Yeah. On the 18th at 7 a.m. there was prayer at the courthouse from West Virginia Alliance. They thought they'd sent emails out to you guys as well,
I
but
didn't get it.
I said I didn't even get it. I just heard about it.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
know nothing about that.
So that was at 7 o'clock. I only
We
heard
had much
about
of
it.
an attendance since nobody knew about it.
There was about 20 people there
Oh,
for it. So I told the lady, we'll make sure we get everybody's email address for that. Even Jimmy walked by. It's like he stayed.
We need to send it to Jeff because we have the prayer every month, if you could send it to the prayer.
Okay, yeah, 7 a.m. on,
Oh, 7 in the morning?
yeah,
I finally did.
Good Friday, yeah.
Oh,
What was it? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It was Prayer Alliance, West Virginia Prayer
Oh.
Alliance, Alliance, had a prayer meeting there.
Okay.
Then on the 18th, met with Jill, the assessor's office. The fishing rodeo was there for a couple hours, and then I went to the Kaiser tennis match for about an hour and a half. That. Then this morning, 10 o'clock, we had the courthouse security meeting. And of course, the commission meeting. That's all I could think of.
All three of you had no.
I'll say this word. Which new question? I wouldn't. I was.
I understand you better not. You want somewhere else to be. Okay, but did all three of you make it to the fishing rodeo?
I was there.
I saw you.
I got handed a dirty job. I'm just glad nobody fell in, cause I was gonna be the one that had to go down. Well, that wasn't fair, was it? She said, just walk around and make sure nobody's fishing before I announce it, and if somebody falls in, you get it. I don't, I was praying nobody fall in. So, but anyway, I was at the fishing rodeo. I had a health department Zoom meeting on the 14th. I had a Region 8 solid waste meeting, and also had a Region 8 planning and development meeting. And like I said, I helped with the fishing rodeo, and I was at the court security. And I'll be honest, this morning, the court security meeting, but I'll be honest with you, there's a couple other things I did, and I can't remember what it was, because I never wrote it down. So,
One other thing, 17th in the morning, they must have just missed each other out, the health department looking at the construction project. Oh,
yeah, I was out there looking, I wasn't on the 17th, but I've been out there looking at it. Yeah, that's, they're supposed, I talked to AJ today, they're supposed to start, he said maybe the first week in May, they're starting construction out there. So that would be great. What time does the legislative dinner start? 5:30, 5:30?
They said it's 29th.
Yeah,
It's
29.
Yeah.
It's, I got it.
5 or 5:30, I think. I have to look. I don't have it on my
I
calendar.
don't have it on mine either.
Davis Center.
Yes,
Davis Center, oh, 5:30.
5:30. What time social?
It looks like 5:30. Up there on the top.
5:30, Davis Hall.
Yes. I'm not sure about, I mean, I do have my tickets, but again, depending on how my eye surgery goes, whether I'll be there or not.
I called her. I texted Katie this morning and I told her that I wanted to go and it was too late, just with the funeral and everything. I was gonna try to register and she already had me down, so
Okay.
she just assumed I was going, but she knew I didn't. So. I think she's gonna put us all, I think she's gonna put us all at the same table.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because Pam Krasinski wanted to sit with us.
Okay.
I'll have to send Kate in.
All right, guess it's my turn. Since the last county commission meeting, I was at the Ambulance Authority meeting on the 10th. I went to the Mineral County CBB meeting, but I was a little bit late and they was just finishing up, so, but I was there. Take that as credit. The 15th, I was on a Zoom call. And it had to do with the, Mineral County, with the health department. Some issues that they had with right away with getting the dirt out of there. But I was involved on a Zoom call with that. Of course, then we was here for laying the levy that day. That evening, went to Mineral County School Board meeting. I stayed there for 3 hours and I still didn't get it. I left early. That was a long.
There were two of us left in the audience.
Was there? That was a long meeting. Wednesday, the 16th, I was at the Fountain PSD meeting. And Wednesday evening, I was on a Zoom meeting with the governor. He did a West Virginia update call, and I just assumed you guys got invited to it too, and evidently not.
Yeah, I
We
got
did.
invited.
Did you? Okay,
We did.
What day was that on?
okay.
What day was that on?
That was the 16th, Wednesday, the 16th.
I don't know where I was at 16. I'd have to look on the calendar.
But it was just a Zoom call. You could do it a question and answer thing. You could put your questions in and he would answer your questions. If they got to it, but, you couldn't see anybody else that was on there. You couldn't, it was just a broadcast type thing, really. But it was live and that was neat. That was something different. I'm glad he did that. He answered a lot of questions and stuff. So that was pretty good. And he's going to continue doing that. That'd be good.
Maybe for next time you guys could be here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So, so then Thursday, the 17th, I was here for the construction progress meeting. The 18th, I went to 911 center for their family recognition thing, or the 911 recognition family day.
Telecommunicators week.
Hell yeah, the end of the telecommunicators week. So I took some old work up and it disappeared. Saturday the 19th, I helped the Short Gap Lions Club install sign down there along the road. And That's pretty much it. I've had a few conversations with the big high tension power lines going through. At the north end of the county. There's a lot of talk about that, and there is going to be a group of people, landowners, that I believe is going to start getting together to try to fight it, to put a stop to it.
I think they're already together.
And they asked me if the commissioners would be on board with them. I do not see a benefit to the county for this transmission line to go through at all.
Is that already in the county back order there?
It's they're
They're still in the planning stage.
Oh, okay.
They came to property owners and asked them, they wanted to pay property owners $500 to go on their land to survey their land. And most of them are refusing to let them get away with the survey.
Here is my issue, it's just like with the windmills. Do I personally like the windmills? I'm not big fans of them. I mean, I don't like hearing them, I don't like the sight of them, but I don't feel that I have the right to tell a landowner, you can't put that on your property.
Yeah.
That's their property. I don't want somebody coming over me telling us, you can't do this to your property.
They don't,
People don't have the right to tell me what I can do and cannot do with my property for it, right?
well, these people don't want it on their property.
And then they should not sign an agreement to let them.
Well, they're not, and they're not, but they're worried that this company's gonna push it through and force everybody to do it.
I talked to the company, Next Air Energy, and they're saying it's at least 10 years away before they start running the lines. But they have to get everything in order now. And I'm like,
Okay.
well, I can tell you right now, you're gonna have a fight on your hand.
Well, they told me that meeting they had with me, that they wanted it done, they wanted to have it done in 5 years.
I thought it was, I couldn't remember, and it wasn't 10 years.
Yeah, I thought it was 5 years. They intended that it would be up and running and within 5 years.
Okay.
But, you know,
Loudoun County, Virginia's got a pretty big fight up. Again, it's the same one going through Loudoun County,
Yeah.
Virginia. And they've already got lawsuits and stuff going up.
yeah. So this one woman I talked to, said that she was told from somebody from Nextera that they told her
Yeah.
that there is a federal law and that will allow them to push it through an eminent domain. And they don't know if that's legal or not.
Benefit from more, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I think they're gonna come and ask us if we'll be on board with them to fight it. And I don't know that we can be part of that or not.
Well, what is the commission's stance on it? Not to put y'all on the spot, but I mean, you can definitely take a stance.
I'm with the property owners and I don't think they don't want it. I wouldn't stand with them.
I'm with the property, if they want it, then let the property owner sign for it. I don't want to say over somebody else's property.
I'm not for it. I don't see a benefit to the county and the property owners don't want it. So I'm standing against it too.
This is the company that came sweet talking real
Yeah,
early,
yeah.
right? That was offering money to Parks and Rec.
Right after the election and,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
they've got the commercials out there now. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
oh, yeah.
They're just, every other commercial is Next Air.
What is it next year?
Next Air Energy and they.
I don't think.
Nextera, Nextera is what.
Yeah,
Does that
Nextera.
sound right?
Yeah.
Air, ARA.
Yeah. And then, what else do I have? Oh, tonight at Kaiser High School at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Mr. Buckman,
It's Nextera. Yes.
I think Mr. Buckman will want to be on Kaiser High School tonight to talk about.
Now, is he the actual?
Era.
I know.
speaker?
I just can't get it out. of my
He is the
mouth.
actual speaker.
What's his
My
name?
little West Virginia accent's coming out there.
I want to say it's Robert Buckman, West Virginia Batman. So,
That's the name.
but he'll be here, he'll be up there, that'll be the community event, and then Wednesday and Thursday, he's going around, I got a schedule, he's going around all different schools, talking at all different schools.
It's on Buckland.
John, Buckland,
Buckland is what the school
I was
is
wrong.
about.
I got the buck part right.
John Buckland is what they sent out, so it's, yeah, there, it's for it.
I don't know, that paid that kind of money, I'd almost dressed up as, went for 2 days. Pretty good money.
And is he gonna get to all the schools? in the-
Yes, he's gonna get to all the schools within the next couple of days. Like I said, I had a schedule. Some schools he's got, he'll do 2 events at some of the schools. I guess they're doing different grades and bringing in different grades at different times. But he's going to all the schools and going around the whole county. So that'll be good. I kind of wish after the fact now, he's doing this community event tonight. I kind of wish he'd do a community event at the other end of the county too, but nonetheless,
Well, if he's gonna be here all week, maybe you can throw something together at the,
well,
later in the week. Talk to him today.
maybe. We'll see. I'll talk to him tonight. I told him I'll be tonight. I have that check and we'll give it to him tonight. They just do it. They asked me if I'd say a few words too, so. Do it first night.
This payroll reimbursement.
So. That's something else. I think I'm good.
That's the check on that one, too, yeah.
Yeah, it's easier for us just to pay him out of general county
Okay,
because of our payroll system, and then they just reimburse us each pay or each month.
Sorry, I'm not meaning to push you guys, but I have a 3 o'clock meeting with my staff.
Yeah, you better hurry up.
I've already texted them, said, go get something to drink.
Well, I'm sorry we pushed the meeting back for the month.
Oh, no.
Mother-in-law's funeral and it's tight for you.
Sometimes things have to be done.
I like these pushback meetings. Actually, wasn't real happy that I was working this evening, but it's just part of it.
And that was the other thing. So I want to thank everybody for your thoughts and prayers for my mother-in-law passing and for my wife and the nice, very nice flower that we got, potted plant and that was up there. There was a lot of comments about that plant. It was really nice. My wife wants to take it home and take care of it. Try to keep it alive.
This is the.
We had-
exonerations.
She's had a rough week. We had to put her cat down last week too. Mother-in-law died Monday night and then Wednesday morning. I can't remember, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning now. She took the night before, the cat was acting real funny and she took it to the vet. And they said it had a stroke and she's 13 years old and just figured, just went in and put her down and my wife's really upset. But she said, well, now she's going, maybe I can have a potted plant in the house and she won't eat it.
And you, were you in favor of this? This is 2 years ago.
You got the door.
See you later.
You all have a good evening.
You too.
Anything's over a year old, we don't have to get it.
Yeah, but has it already been paid or been reissued? That's the thing. What's the explanation in the middle say?
Duplicate bill.
Okay, so if it's already a duplicate, you can't actually make them pay twice. So that's probably why.
You know, I don't, if I get duplicate bill, I'm one. I don't wait 2 years. So you got it all right for me to sign this?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. It's getting backed up here.
Less talking, more signing.
Yeah.
They started looking like he was still doing his report though.
No.
He didn't have much choice.
Yeah.
You want me to sign it? I sign on.
Just on the front.
I
Just the front one, that's all
sat here
you
and listened to their reports and what all they did, but whenever I've gotten my report,
I
they're
was listening
I
to
was
you.
listening.
hey, whatever.
It's multitasking.
Please don't make me feel guilty.
My ability to multitask sure isn't what it used to be.
Is it pen in here for a reason?
Oh, no, I just thought I'd bring an extra pen and apparently that's where it ended up.
You didn't sign them.
Oh, well, I didn't. They don't need to be signed.
They don't?
No.
No. Nice, I always bring it.
Let's sign that letter real quick. If you wanna read it, that'd be welcome as well. I called it the Blue Hole Recreational Area, cause I had no idea what else to call it. But
Oh,
What are they gonna do up there?
they wanna put an almost heaven swing in.
That, it is the Blue Hole, what that's called.
That's why, so I put the Blue Hole Recreation Area. I didn't, cause I know everyone calls it Blue Hole. I'm like, I don't know if it's. I didn't want to put a swing in the Blue Hole.
Where's the, like, this is the first time I'm hearing a blue hole.
Is it, you
Yeah.
have never heard of that?
Uh-uh.
You didn't fish much, have you?
I fish, but I'm evidently not there. Where's that? Are you gonna pull it up?
Down in Lorraine, or not Lorraine, but down in,
Barnum.
Barn.
Ah,
Down there where the cliffs is across.
yeah, but I never knew it was called blue hole.
Oh, he's on.
Yeah, this.
That's what I bring. Oh,
Yeah, I never did that. That was called, blue hole.
Yep.
That's a nice picture there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. She uses that for a lot of stuff. Yeah, this is her website. Okay. That's all I have.
Cannons, did they take care of cannons? Check to them.
Yes, and it should have. I don't recall if she put it in the mail or if she ran it up.
Okay.
Because we had other checks, we put that in a separate check. But I do have to get with Cody about the $1,000. Because we cut the check. Yeah, she's such a hurry to check that for this thing. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. We got, with all the bills and get payroll, the quarterlies caught up and the reconciliations and recordings and everything and, still unpacking, but I'll probably be unpacking for the rest of the year.
I think that one I signed in the wrong page.
Well, you were in your old office for how long? I don't know if you guys ever finished unpacking it.
Well,
Started there.
There was nowhere to unpack it, but, Piedmont election, May 12th, maybe. They're gonna be picking up their books Friday. For their election.
There was a bill about changing municipality. Had to do.
They have to go to general elections.
General election.
Yeah.
I don't know if that went through. That was paid this year.
Signed that about the wrong name.
I don't know, but I think it does. That does make sense.
Luke, you don't care if I sign that up on the top, did you?
You send your personal?
Oh, Jason signed it in the wrong place.
Oh, I did?
Did I sign it the right place?
You signed it the right-
Okay.
I always do signature.
I thought that's what.
You're good.
We're going.
If you want to print another one.
A lot of people sign.
If you wanna print another one, we'll sign it again.
It's up to you all.
No, he's right. I just wasn't filming.
Yeah, I'll just- You want me to reprint it or you guys?
It's up to you.
I mean, it's up to you.
I'm sure.
Okay.
You want me ready?
So the Sydney's at 6 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
I want to go down to that list. It's that, there's that auditorium.
Auditorium, yeah.
That's the CDBG drawdown. There's a bunch of places to sign on it, not making copies.
You want me to sign this?
Yes.
Hmm?
Yeah, that was approved to sign during the meeting. That's the valve.
Yeah, what happened?
Nothing out of her, so something must have come up.
Okay. What was she, do you know what she was coming for this time?
No, I didn't.
I think I printed it at 911.
See, there's several.
Well, I'm not going up there to sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the issue, we moved over like, okay, what printers are coming out on?
Oh. Yeah.
EA Turnpike.
Oh, right.
And you just send us a
Sorry about
picture
that.
after the
You're
meeting.
good.
They just sent it to the vehicle, so we know who it is. We obviously don't answer the text message ones.
Let someone get a toll bill.
Well, I didn't date that. You want me to date them?
And yeah,
4/22, right?
Earth
Jason,
Day.
you still signing in the wrong place. Oh, that's the old one. I'm looking at it. It's not okay.
Say it, David. Right. If there's no.
This one needs signed there.
There's one place on this question.
Yeah, just be one place, yep.
Got to re-sign there.
I'm signing at the bottom.
Right for my name.
Hey, you want how many reads you make the other day? I don't know how many times. I had so much stuff to sign there, it's unreal.
Oh, that's right.
No. Have you set a date for the time for the hearing you gotta have in May?
We find the state,
I think it was.
it was the May 13th meeting at 10.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was done at the last.
It's May 13th.
It's the next commission meeting at 10.
Again, okay, that's where, yeah.
Yes.
You are wondering, Cassandra is doing fantastic. She is amazing. Picking up on everything really quickly.
Yeah, she contacted me about that stuff for the FOIA press. I told her just everything going on.
Yeah, well, what I told her to do was go ahead and send the stuff she had gathered and told her like, we are making good faith effort to fulfill this and.
We've also said there is a file cap that you use already here for your opioid.
Yeah, there's a moment over, I don't know, if half of it broke or not working or whatever.
What about the one behind the desk, like the long wide one? We can.
Yeah,
get
that's-
the,
Did you
That's
see
what
all
I'm
the
talking
stuff
about.
sitting out in the parking lot at, what was that at when I come in today?
Oh, probably the courthouse. Oh,
7-Eleven, that's what it was, 7-Eleven, yeah.
Yeah, they're remodeling.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Man, they had stuff sitting out all, you couldn't get on the parking lot. That's close.
Yeah, yeah, I looked at that one too. I forget.
it's got stuff in it, that we can take it out. Most of those are just, they don't get used.
Can we do the motions on these so we can adjourn, please?
But he's still signing.
Well, that's all right, won't hurt.
Make a motion, we approve the exonerations.
I second
And
it.
I approve that also.
Make a motion, we approve the estates.
Second.
Was there estates?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
just a small thing.
And then I'll make a motion, we approve the accounts payable.
With purchase orders.
With purchase. And I approve that also. I
And
approve.
adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.